There was no one inside him. Nothing but a trace of chill. Behind his face, which looked like no other face, and his lavish, whimsical, impassioned words, there was a dream dreamt by no one. At first he thought that all people were like him, but the astonishment of a friend to whom he had confided about his emptiness told him that he was wrong. Once he thought that in books he could find a cure for his illness. Later he considered that a cure might well be found in an elemental right of humanity, and let himself be initiated by Anne Hathaway one long June afternoon. In his 20s he went to London. He was instinctively adept at pretending to be someone, so that no one would suspect that he suffered from the condition of being no one. In London he found what he was preordained to be, an actor, who on a stage plays at being someone before an audience, who pretend that he is the person he plays. His histrionic assignments gave him, perhaps for the first time, a rare glimpse of happiness. But once the last verse had been applauded and the last corpse dragged off the stage, the unwelcome shadow of unreality fell over him again. He ceased to be Ferrex and Tamerlane and became no one again. Thus hounded, he took to imagining other heroes and other tragic tales, and so, while his flesh fulfilled its destiny as flesh in the taverns and brothels of London, the soul that inhabited him belonged to Caesar, who disregards the oracle's warning, and Juliet, who shrinks from the skylark, and Macbeth, who converses on the heath with the witches, who are also the fates. No one was as many men as this man, who could exhaust all the guises of reality. At times he would leave a confession in some hidden corner of his work, certain that it would not be deciphered. Richard affirms that he plays the part of many. Iago makes the curious claim, "I am not what I am." And Portia, dismissing one of her suitors in The Merchant of Venice, says of him, "He is every man and no man." For 20 years he persisted in this controlled delirium. Then one morning he was suddenly overcome by the tedium and horror of being so many kings who perish by the sword, and so many suffering lovers who meet, break apart, and die lyrical deaths. That very day he decided to sell his theatre. Within a week he had returned to his hometown, where he reclaimed the trees and rivers of his youth, and did not relate them to the other selves his muse had celebrated. He had to be someone. So he became a retired impresario who had made his fortune and dabbled in money lending, lawsuits, and petty usury. It was as this person that he dictated the arid last will and testament known to us, from which he deliberately excluded every trace of pathos, every literary flourish. The story goes that before or after his death, he found himself in the presence of God and told him, "I, who have been so many men in vain, want to be one man only, myself." The voice of the Lord answered him out of a whirlwind, "Neither am I anyone. I have dreamt the world as you have dreamt your work, my Shakespeare. You are one of the shapes rising from my dreams, and like me, you are everything and nothing."